Okay.
I mean,
Today we will start with component interface coding. Here all the file layout code was done. In the very next step, generally what we will do, we will try to load the data from staging to the component. To that, I already written one application engine. Based on that, I will explain you. In this application engine, I think project is also there. Okay. In this project, the same you can compare with our project. Here, records are there. Employee table, dependent table, institution table, salary table. There is no level 3 available in this particular component, but if level 3 is available, one more staging record is required. Now, here, employee staging load, dependent staging load, institution staging load, salary staging load was done. Next step, what I'm doing here, I'm calling a section data load. In that particular section, what I did, I written one do select and people code. You can get it out. Venkat, why don't we write do select and people code within the step 5? Yes, you can write. For better understanding of call section, I called like this. Why we use do select? Why? Because your file data is in your staging table right now. This is your record. Employee staging table is there. Here you have all your file data already loaded with the help of file layout and application engine. This is your file data. Then from this staging record, how can I fetch? Within this component interface people code, we can get it. Otherwise, simply we will use a do select. Simply in the do select, I am collecting the details from the employee staging table. Employee staging table. In our scenario, what we will do here, we will add one more step. Here I am adding a do select. In the do select, what are all the details I am collecting from my staging table of employee? Select employee ID, name, joining date, gender from PS underscore employee staging. This is the do select I am writing. Why we should use the do select? Why? Because whenever I am giving you the file data, if I am asking you to enter manually, first what you will do, you will pick one employee. You will enter into the page. You will add the employee details. Next, you won't save the page and you won't enter second employee. First, what you will do once you enter the employee data, for that employee, what are all the details available in the dependent table? For that particular employee in the staging table, you will pick those details. That means base is employee here. We are picking the employee details here. Then if we picked one employee from here, then I will write a people code. In that people code, I will add my component interface. That means first employee it will pick up, it will load the complete details of the employee, dependent, institution, education, whatever it may be. Next, loop will continue. It will pick the second employee and it will continue. Third employee, it will continue. Like that, how many employees are there? For each and every employee, it will try to create a loop. Row by row processing it is. In the do select, generally what we will do, we will use the percentage select. Again, I will use all the stuff. I should create a state record with all these fields, whichever I am passing. Whichever I am passing, it will collect in the name of state record here. Okay, we collected the details from this doSelect. Next, in the people code, what are all the changes? You know, you can compare both. It's just a statement. Here also the same. Next, declaration, same. I haven't changed anything. Function, error handler. If you see, if you would like to write errors in a specific log file, not in the CA log file. You would like to write the errors in a specific log file, not the CA log file. Then what you will do? Generally, simply you will write a log file, your own log file, error log, get file, you will give the file path, write mode. Then all the errors, error log, write line. Wherever you called the error handler function, then it will write a line in the error log file. This is the use of this function, error handler. Next, you can compare the same. We are getting the log file. Here also, we are getting the log file. Here, things not changed. Here also, we are getting the CI. Even in our portion of code, here we are getting the CI. Next, interactive mode is false, get history items true, edit history items true. Here. Next, observe carefully. Here, things got changed. This is the search page. This is the search page. In the search page, it is expecting a value. Then, already I collected my employee ID details in AET record, state record. I already told you, in the application engine people code, you can pass AET record directly. No other record. AET record dot field dot value. No other records have that provision except AET. We passed it. That means in this doSelect, if it is collecting two employees, first it will pass the first employee ID here into the search. If not get, no problem. If not create, either one will be true. Next, level 0. Here I am collecting only two fields from this application engine doSelect. That's why I am passing only those two fields. The same here in our scenario. You have to uncomment this and you have to pass. You can remove the log file of CI. It won't create any impact. Like this. Here we are collecting each and every detail from the state records. That's why I passed the state record value. In the doSelect, we are collecting all of the details from employee staging table. I passed it. Till here, no hiccups, nothing, no roadblocks. Next, coming to the level 1. Okay, we successfully passed state record value into the level 0. Now coming to the level 1. Here I already told you, in the dependent table, it is collecting the details of the dependents existing already in the database with respect to the employee ID. Here we passed the employee ID into the CI. For that CI, how many dependents are there in the database? It is collecting and it is creating a collection. It's PeoplesSoft delivered statement. In this code, if you observe, that particular delivered statement is here. Above that, I written some statements. Observe carefully from here onwards. Once you understood level 1, all others are same. This is the delivered statement. Here I am taking the collection. I am passing the employee ID. For that employee ID, how many dependents are there in the database? Already existed. If it's existed, then I am collecting all the dependents and I am placing it in a collection. Before that, what I written? I have to capture, I have to fetch how many dependents are there in the dependent staging table, not in the dependent table. Dependent staging table with respect to the employee ID, what we passed here in the level 0. How can I fetch? That's why I written a row set concept. Here I declared a row set. Here I declared a row set. Can you give me 1 minute? I will be back. 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Whenever the row set, sorry, we are declaring a row set for dependent. You can use your own name, dependent staging. You can use your own name, dependent staging. Simply in our people code also, I can use like this, dependent staging. Then this is the row set of rows. Row set means nothing but a set of rows. Then I'm collecting the rows, but I need a structure to fill the rows. I need a structure. Where is the structure? Structure is my staging table. Structure is my staging table. Then I am creating a row set. Here, simply I am creating a row set here. Dependent row set, create row set with my dependent staging table. Then a row set will be created in the buffer. The row set will be created in the buffer. Then what next? You created a row set. There is no data as of now. There is no data as of now. You created a row set. Next, what we have to do? Fill the data. Fill the row set with the data. Where is the data? Data is there in the staging table. How can I collect? How can I fill it? Simply I written row set.fill where employee equal to 1. Here I am passing employee. If I written the statement completely, it will be like this. Select dependent ID from, or select star from each and every thing. Select star from PS underscore GEE dependent staging from dependent staging where employee equal to 1. Here I am passing the employee ID. As simple as that. Whenever we pass the employee ID into this statement, if you query in the backend, simply what it will return, how many dependents are there in the dependent table. A1. GE employee. If you query this, these two dependents will come now. That means the entire data, whatever you fetched from this statement, it will fill into this row set. Yes, there is a possibility of having more than a row in this row set. Why? Because here 2 rows are there. 1 or 2, by 100% there is a possibility of having more than a row. Then what we will do generally, go to the manual entry. We entered we picked the employee details, we entered into the component. Next, in file, we have 3 dependents. We will try to pick the first dependent from the file and we will check the dependent available or not. If the dependent is available, then we will update the dependent details which are there in the file. You will pick the second dependent ID. You will check again. What you are checking? You are checking with the all database rows. That means my point is, Here, this is our component. Let us imagine for this employee, we have two dependents in the file. Then we will pick the first dependent ID and we will check each and we will compare that particular dependent ID with the database dependent ID. If it's matched with the first dependent, okay, then fine, update it. No, it's not matched with the first dependent. Second dependent, not matched. Third, matched, update it. You will pick the second dependent from the file. You matched with the 4. It's not matched. Then what you will do? You will add a new row. That means we have to pick one dependent from the staging and we have to compare that particular dependent with the existing dependent information in the database. That's what we are doing now. That's why I created a loop in my code. For this row set, I created a loop. For I equal to 1, for my understanding, I used dependent ampersand depth. 1, 2, where is the count? Here is the count. In this, how many rows you fetched from the staging? All the rows will come into the picture. 1 to 2. First, I am checking 1. With what? Now the delivered code will come. Now the delivered code coming into the picture. Here. Already, you collected the staging information into this row set. You're done. Now what you are going to do? You picked one dependent from the staging and you entered into the component in the level 1. In the level 1, already there is a chance of having more than a row. Then I have to collect all the rows. I collected here. But we need to compare this dependent information with each and every row, whatever I collected from the database. Here I collected from staging in this row set. Here I collected data from database. This is the database statement. That means the PeoplesSoft delivered statement it is. In our scenario also it's available. Next, local integer. Yes, it's available. I added one variable here. That means here I added one variable. I am deciding my variable mode is added. You can use your own variable name. Ampersand dependent action. Initially, I am considering I am going to add the dependent. But later what we are doing, there is a for loop, database for loop it is. It's a database for loop. Already PeoplesSoft created for us. Within that for loop, have you observed? This is the database statement, the PeoplesSoft statement. Here also the PeoplesSoft statement. Now what we are doing? Please stop me if you are in a confusion. We started a for loop here. Till here we written these 4 lines of code. Next, PeoplesSoft delivered statement, PeoplesSoft delivered statement, PeoplesSoft delivered statement, these 2. Next, we picked one dependent here. We are checking the dependent availability in this 4 rows. Where are the 4 rows? Here. How we will check? We will compare the database table dependent ID. That means simple row set concept. Collection item of 1. That means in the collection number 1 row, first row dependent ID is matched with this row set first number row number 1 dependent ID. If it's matched, then I am turning my dependent action is update. Have you understood this variable? Dependent action add and update. Please confirm. Any confusion? I'm ready to explain one more time. Srini?
Could you explain one more time?
Where are you confused?
The first one, you saw this one, the dependent record create row set record.
Till here you are clear?
Yeah, from that one, could you explain again?
We need to fetch the dependent data, right, from the staging. How many dependents are there in the file? Why? Because we are just think about Srini, we are adding in a manual manner. What you will do, you will pick one employee ID first and you will enter into the component. Next, you will open the dependent file. How many dependents are there in the file? 2 dependents. 2. Just imagine 2 dependents. Then you have to pick one of the dependent only, right? You won't pick 2 dependents at a time to check each and everything. Then you picked one dependent. You have to check with the database data. That particular dependent ID is matched with the dependent 1? No. Dependent 2? No. Dependent 3? Yes, it is matched. You understood my point? The same we are performing in the backend. How we are performing? Data is there in the staging table already here, right?
Okay.
Then I collected all the dependents available with respect to the employee ID, what we are processing right now. Then those 2 dependents information will come into this row set. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Then I already told you we have to process one by one dependent. Okay, I picked one dependent by using this loop. I entered with dependent 01, D01. Okay, but I have to check the D01 availability already there in the database or not. Am I right?
Okay.
Then where can I get the database data? From this collection. How this collection got filled? This variable already filled here, right, with employee ID. With that employee ID, how many dependents are there in the dependent table in the database? Not staging it is. It's not staging, right? It's a database table. That means this count we are collecting now, 4. We will place here. But how do you check this dependent ID with these 4? You have to check with each and every row, right, where it is matching. In the front end, generally you will go by like this, right? Okay, dependent ID in the file, it is not matching with. It is not matching with. Yes, it is matching. That means you are picking the exact row where the dependent ID matched. Am I right? There only you will write some updates, right? Okay, you got gender today in the file. You will update like this. You understood my point here?
Okay.
Like that it is not matched with any dependent available in the database. Then what do you have to do? You have to create it.
Okay.
This dependent ID is not matched with the existing dependents from the database. I'm considering, first of all, I'm considering I'm going to add the dependent, but I'm changing the variable information within the loop. If this dependent ID is matching with any of the dependent ID, you will pick, you are checking with the first dependent from the staging. You are matching the first dependent with this from the staging with the database count. Right? Then first row of the database will come here. First row of the database is equals to the staging data. No, Venkat, it is not matching. Then fine, it will go to the second. Got my point? Second row from the database. Second row of database dependent ID is matching with the staging. No, then it will go to the third. It will pick the third. Venkat, it is matched. Then my action is update. Why? Because I have to decide, right? I have to add the data or update data. Got my point here? Still any confusion? Which row was matched? Count. Here is the depth. Which row was matched? In the front end, you are saying third row is matched. Okay, fine. You are updating the third row, exact row. Here, the loop is running. Which row you are going to match? This row. If you are examining the first row of the dependent, 1 will come. Second, 2 will come. 3 will come. Then I am collecting the number here. You understood my point here, Srini? All of
Yeah.
you. Then what you have to do? I am closing the for loop of the database. Observe carefully. Why? Because my part was done. For the first dependent from the staging, my part was done. I decided I'm going to add the dependent or update the dependent. Next, if my mode is add, that means this variable is add, that means the first dependent from the staging is not matched with any row in the database. Then generally what we will do, we will click on this add a new row. Am I right? That is why if my mode is add, then into the database collection, already this collection is holding 4 rows. Am I right? As per our understanding. Insert item. I am inserting an item. 1 row. Then you have to pass key field information, name, relationship. That means whatever you are fetching from the dependent table, you have to pass each and everything. When else will occur? Whenever the mode is updated. Here, I don't want to insert a row. I would like to update the exact row which was matched. In the dependent table, in the collection, I am updating a row. Here I am collecting the data. Okay, row number 3 is matched, then number 3 will come. Here also number 3. In the database table, in the collection, row number 3 I am updating. That means here, row number 3 I am updating. Whenever you are updating the data, no need to pass the key field. Why? Because key field is matched was, that's why you decided it is going to update. Then the remaining field values you can pass. Have you got my point here? All of you?
Venkat, if you saw in the add mode, the line number 2,
Where?
percentage in the variable, the add. If you have ampersand mode equal to add, then I saw the first one is like you're adding. That's correct.
We are adding it. We are adding a new row of data. That is why.
Yeah, that's correct.
Insert item.
Okay, because the below the row, I got the doubt actually because you are getting the data from the staging table. That's correct.
Here is the data from the staging table only. This row set is referring staging data, deprec here.
Okay, that is
row number 1. 1 we are processing. Row number 1 we are processing. That particular row number 1 we are inserting.
Okay, where we are taking that inserting into the what is that ampersand? That is the table name, dependent ID. We are getting the data from the.
Saying. This is the one you are saying, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Here is the one.
Okay.
Got it? What is this?
Because
variable? What is this variable? This is the variable which is holding the dependent table from the database. You understood my point?
Oh, dependent table like
from the database.
Okay.
It's not the staging, it's the dependent table from the database.
Okay.
Then, in the dependent table database, if there is a collection already, I'm inserting a row into the collection.
Yes.
Like, just add a new row. If not add, in the database table, in the collection, which row you are updating? Item, specific item you are updating.
Okay.
Where you collected this item number? In the matching statement. Here,
Okay.
within the database for loop, we matched. Okay, it's matched. Which row it's matched? Then particular row number. Row number 3 is matched. Then we are passing the row number 3 here. Then the remaining. Please keep in mind, this is an interview question. What is the difference between insert item and item in CI people code? Simply, insert item will insert a new row of data in the collection. Why? Because in that particular level, that particular row is not available. There is no matching row available. That's why we are adding a new row by using insert item. Item means our staging data, our file data is matching with the database. That's why we are updating the existing data. Item will update the existing data. Insert item will create a new row. That's it. Whenever you are using insert item, 100% you have to enter a key field. Why? Because whenever I decided I would add a new dependent, that you have to add the new dependent ID. If it's matched, then no need to add the dependent ID. Some name updations will come, some gender updations may come, or some address. That's why in the people code also, we are not passing key fields if the row is updated, if the row is ready to update. One important point, we started the dependent staging for loop here. It's not closed. We started the database for loop. It's closed. Dependent for loop is not closed. Why? Because you are processing the first dependent. You successfully decided you are going to add or update the dependent. Next, don't go for the next dependent. Front end. For this dependent, any institution data came from the file. How do you know? The same structure, just observe carefully. Dependent staging for loop not yet closed. Within the loop, I am calling the institution logic. Again the same. Institution staging record, row set. I am filling with institution staging record. Here I am passing where employee ID equal to 1, dependent ID equal to 2. Employee ID, I am passing from the AD table. Dependent ID, I am passing from the level 1 logic here. This is the dependent ID value I am passing here. Then it will collect in the institution staging table how many institutions are available with respect to this employee ID and for that particular dependent. All the institution details will fill in this row set. Again, I started the for loop of my institution staging. Again, the same logic. Add, update. Add, then insert item. In my component, there is no level 3. Here also, database institution database for loop started and ended. Institution staging for loop started, not ended. Here it is ending. If it is level 3, if it is holding level 3, then level 3, after level 3, it will close like this. 3 end fors. This end for is referring dependent. This end for is referring institution. This end for is referring location in our scenario. Next, salary. Salary is again independent. It's purely dependent on the root. That means employee. For loop and for. We are done. How much big is the people code? It doesn't matter. You will follow the same syntax. Venkat, why should we use the doSelect? Why don't we write the same kind of structure for level 0 also? For level 0 also, why don't we write rows? Okay, no problem, write it. But for better understanding how many rows we are processing, for easy processing, we can use the doSelect. It will create a loop. Even in the people code also, if you are asking me, Before this, I can create a row set and I fill the row set, blah, blah, blah. But AET use is the best practice. Why? Because it will pick one row from the staging, employee staging, and it will process the entire chain like this. Once you understood the level 1 load, remaining are same. That's why I told you in the last session. To understood this logic, you have to refer the row set concept, what we discussed in our people code last session. Any doubts or any queries? Nothing to worry. I can guide you here one point. I will share you the sample code I showed you. I will share you via email. Just try to understood the code what I written. You know one thing, if I am writing a people code now, CI people code, I may also get hundreds of errors. I can resolve my errors. Why? Because I know the process flow of the code. Here you are also, first please concentrate on process flow. What you are writing, how the code flow is. If you're getting any doubt, just go ahead and compare with the front end. How it is executing in the front end. Are we writing the same in the back end or not? You are getting a new CI load application engine. Then nothing to worry. Follow the same structure. First, try to execute code. You will get hundreds of errors. You have to resolve one by one. But when you can resolve the errors, whenever you know the process flow of this code like this, please try to split the code into different pieces. Try to understood the coding. Does it make sense, all of you? Or any questions to me?
Venkat, I don't have a question on this, but I have another question.
Please go ahead.
So remember the standard output file where we can see our message box messages? So in my case, I don't see view, log, or trace link, but then on the local machine, where should I find it?
Is it your program posted the file, or still it is showing posting?
It's posted. It's success. Process is successful.
Success, distribution status,
Yeah.
I am asking. Distribution status. Like this, in the people tools, okay, let us say the process monitor. Is it succeeded or success? Distribution status, like posted or posting?
Posted. It is posted.
Posted, right?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I can check one
Okay,
more time.
Here, are you see this link is enabled?
Oh, no. It is posting. It is posting.
That's what I'm saying. Posting. Like this. Right? Posting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is success and posting.
Okay, understood. Can you show me your screen quickly? I have only 5 more minutes.
Yeah. This is all posting.
Okay. Then, can you go to the server list? Main menu, below the main menu, server list. Okay. Details. It's running only. Okay. Then, okay, do one thing. Go to the navigation I told you. Go to the new window. in the right hand side, new window is there. Quickly. Yep. Okay, go to the people tools. Process scheduler. Okay, wait a minute. Process scheduler. Servers. Okay, click on search. I think only one server or two servers. PSNT, second one. PSNT. Distribution. Oh, okay, distribution node is not there. Then go to the process scheduler. Top, process scheduler. One second. Report nodes. Report nodes. Okay. Then click on search. How many report nodes you have? 1, 2. Okay. Node name is 1, 2. Then go to the servers.
Oh, how do I go here? Okay.
Servers. Okay. PSNT. Okay. Go to the distribution. Add the report node 1, 2 and search in the prompt. Okay, it's available. Then save it. Okay. Can you go to the process monitor again? Okay. Can you please down the app process scheduler server and up the server? Go to the PS admin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
PS admin. Can you maximize it for me? Yeah. Okay. 2. Second option.
Stop.
Option number 2. Yes. 1. Yes. Now you are shutting down the process scheduler.
Yeah.
Okay. Now up again.
Start again.
Process scheduler server.
Number 1.
Yeah. The same what you did earlier. Quick 1.